Hey guys, welcome back to DXB Crypto. Hope you're doing well. Hope you are looking forward to a fantastic weekend. And guys, in today's video, you want to watch this because I may have just had a conviction play on the next Solana, which I really believe, and honestly, with my gut feeling, this project could do very well, relatively speaking, to the market. And also, I want to talk about the road to success is never easy in crypto. You're going to have such a terrible time just climbing up. So if you could imagine your first time climbing Everest, and that's what crypto is. The chart goes up, you come down, you go to base camp, you rest a bit, then you pack up again, and you start scaling K1. All right. So smash a like. If you're new to the channel, follow us, give us a like. Really appreciate your support, guys. It encourages me to do more videos like this. Anyway, let's have a look at the market first. You can see here, Bitcoin's at $55,000. We could be in for a ride, guys. I've always said, and I go back to it, things are not done yet. So if you're holding any stable coins, hold on to your hats and wait and see where the market goes before you deploy capital. Do not FOMO. Everything you do should be strategic. And that is the general advice that I'm going to give you. So in yesterday's video, I spoke about the core projects. And I've mentioned relatively safe core projects and what I consider to be the best risk to reward ratio projects in the market. So I talked about the likes of Alephium, best layer one, in my opinion, in terms of valuation. I've talked about, we talked about Kaspa as a safe pick, and we talked about a few other projects. So the illustration that I gave you yesterday was how to build a super portfolio and not rating projects on the basis of their risk alone, right? All my projects, majority of my portfolio is relatively high risk, high reward. Having said that, if you're looking for safety, like I said, I've got the next Solana for you. So let's jump on to this, guys. Some big news coming out today. August job reports, unemployment rate falls to 4.2%. Labor market adds another 142,000 jobs. And that's the US economy adding fewer jobs than expected. Okay. In August, while unemployment rate tickled lower, data from the Bureau of Statistics, labor and statistics released on Friday showed that the labor market added 142,000 jobs, and obviously it continues. Wage growth, an important measure for gauging inflation pressures, rose to 3.8% year over year, up from 3.6% annual gain in July. On the monthly basis, wages increased 0.4% higher than the 0.2% seen in prior month. Now, there are obviously, this is obviously quite consistent with the soft landing. The printers are going to go on, and that's all she wrote on that side. Now, interestingly, guys, in terms of the overall market, things, majority of cryptocurrencies are in a good buy zone. Having said that, I think the downward pressure would start to tell. And, for example, if you look at a project like Kaspa, which has performed relatively well against Bitcoin, in fact, the whole year. And Kaspa has now gone into a very, very nice dip, passing my target here of 14 cents and 14.5 cents, and obviously looking to come down maybe a little bit more. But look, that's not the main purpose of the video. I can talk about these projects, but I want to dig into some of the main topics, finding you the next Solana. And I kind of talked about this yesterday. So without further ado, I'd like to talk about Sui, guys. As you saw in my latest article in the DXB community, Sui comes across and continues to impress me, considering the market valuation and the market cap. Now, it has a massively expanded ecosystem, decent community, and a massive potential with the VC backing to be this cycle's Solana. And if you missed the article, obviously, I'm going to talk about it. That was set for the Patreon. And big up to the caveman who took the courage and entered. And I believe he's up over, 10% right now or more. So we just had an absolute rip today. But I want to talk about this as a layer one potential, because having seen these kind of noises in the last cycle, I think Sui has a lot more to offer in Web3 gaming. Now, if you look at Web3 gaming in general, right now, there are certain barriers and potentially pitfalls in terms of Web3 gaming, where you have the hardware and the software completely detached. You've got decentralization on the blockchain for things like gaming assets, but then you've got, I don't know, some kind of a what do you call Amazon Web Service, or some service being hosted somewhere else, and it's not fully decentralized. So taking that into consideration, the Sui, which is obviously the fastest blockchain, fastest layer one in the proof of stake category, Sui is basically coming out with something called the Sui Play OX1. Now, this particular device is incredibly impressive, and one of the reasons why it's impressive is because you've got the ability to use the Sui sign-in to enter the game, to enter the hardware, and it's the first time where you've got a hardware native to Web3 gaming device, and that's incredibly bullish. And in my opinion, I think this is going to be something that could bring Web3 gaming into a mainstream narrative. Now, discover new worlds, own your assets, and the first game that's going to come on this, that's going to be shipped with, by the way, the price of the product is $599. You remember what the Solana phone did for the Solana ecosystem, and I think this is just a start before you start to see Sui taking over crypto gaming. In terms of these devices, in just one day, more than 1,500 devices were already shipped off, and obviously flew off the pre-orders. And I think, in my opinion, Sui could be the next biggest kind of layer one, or the biggest run this cycle. There is a misunderstanding about the tokenomics, and people don't really think that Sui has a good tokenomics. Having said that, 20% circulating, 27%. By the end of the bull run, that would be around, I believe, 36%. But we'll talk about the tokenomics in a minute. And this is obviously leveling up with two incredible marquee gaming partners, and the gaming partners are also something to watch. You can play Dark Times, free to earn, Nordic style inspired medieval brawler, and obviously the other one is called Society. And if you look at these, I mean, these actually look pretty interesting indeed. And yeah, so look, I'm incredibly bullish on this. I think this is going to be something to watch, and obviously not financial advice, but if you see the quality, and these are the games that you can play on the Sui Play development, this is backed by the Sui Foundation. So overall, I think Sui is going to be a massive player when it comes to the entire ecosystem. 297 TPS. Now, obviously, you've got to take that with a pinch of salt, because that is more or less done in a controlled environment. But everything about Sui smells like it is absolutely heading for that direction of a major layer one. And when you consider the price, even under $1, even at $1, to be honest, it's still relatively undervalued. I remember when Sui came out in 2023, everybody was farming the airdrop, expecting a similar airdrop to Arbitrum. But Sui is just, they never went down the airdrop route, and instead they released the token in May, traded from 10 cents to well over $1 in the first few candles, and then it came back down. The lowest possible price for Sui was during the I believe it was just the period before the November or October time last year, around that 40 cents. So you're literally getting up from the ground up. You're not really missing a lot in terms of the price action. There is plenty of upside to go. Now, Sui is also obviously following Playtron, and for those of you obviously in gaming, you'd know who Playtron is. The fact that Epic Games can be played on the Sui Player 1 or Sui Play is also another incredibly bullish aspect of this project, and we can obviously look forward to more gaming. But guys, my conviction is this: you've got hardware, and you've obviously got a fast blockchain. You've got the ability to finalize transactions in a lightning fast way. And if you look at some of the games that will be available on Sui, on this device, I mean, look at this. This is absolutely terrific. So obviously this is something to consider. This is something to consider, in my opinion. And I think most of the investors right now are looking for some kind of safety and security. Whilst I am 100% degen, guys, 100% degen, I also believe that first mover advantage into things like this cannot be ignored. Now, I've been a fan of Sui since 2022, 2023 when it was announced. And obviously coming from Sui and Aptos, the founders of the DM blockchain that failed from Meta. And I really believe that this is where you should be considering in a time of such volatility, in a time of uncertainty, with everything else that's happening in the market. I think this is a very, very good project to consider. And again, Sui will be at the center of the entire ecosystem. Now, it's already saying pre-order here for $5.99. So guys, Sui in terms of pricing today has rocketed, and I will also show you some interesting aspects of Sui. So here's a chart that I have regarding some key altcoins versus BTC. So as the Bitcoin dominance comes down, these altcoins tend to kind of go up. But if we look at Sui, let's look at Sui versus BTC on Binance. All right. This particular cryptocurrency has outperformed or broke out against Bitcoin pairing, which is quite significant. Now, do I think obviously this is just a start? It's actually performing against Bitcoin much better than most of the other altcoins. In fact, it's up 5% against Bitcoin. If you saw the prices where it was trading at today on the daily, it had a decent candle. It went up to 88 cents. I genuinely believe this can go over $20. Not financial advice, obviously comparing this to Cardano in the last cycle. And you've got to zoom out sometimes and look at other indicators as well. You can see here on the overall, indicator dashboard for crypto, there are a lot of metrics that you could have a look, including the YouTube video engagement. This is obviously telling us that people are not as engaged. And if you look over here in 2021, you can see what channels people were watching. Channels like BitBoy Crypto was amassing over 700,000 views per video, which is absolutely incredible. And now you come down, obviously you had those bear market lows 2023, and then right now we're back up here, but still in terms of the overall viewership, it's massively down, guys. There is no denying that. And when people come into crypto, eventually when they start flocking into it, making moves into projects like Kaspa, making moves into projects like Alephium, Sui, basedai, AGI, and aitech, Tectem, you can start to see, when I go back to my original discussion about what I was talking about yesterday, building something that would be relatively successful and even choosing your high risk, high rewards very carefully is going to do you wonders. Now, this is obviously something that I take pride in, especially when it comes to making sure that I give you as honest information as to what I'm doing myself. Okay. Now, this dip is your current opportunity to erase past mistakes. All right. If you've been stuck in coins that aren't performing, now's the time to potentially switch them. Okay. Now, I've said yesterday, and I'm going to say it again, switching to stronger altcoins, including the some of those high risk, high reward ones, I think is absolutely vital for everybody to do. Why would you be stuck with things that have no potential upside? So that's something you got to consider. If you're completely trapped, I would do nothing. And just remember, in every crisis, there's an opportunity, right? The market is red right now. It will continue to be red throughout this month. But when the real wealth is built, you know, the smart money would be the ones that are buying right now. So set up your portfolios for the next bull market, guys. Focus on the strong projects. I'm talking about Sui. Sui has become an opportunity right now. Like I said, if you look at all the things that I've showed you today, it is, you know, it is absolutely critical to see where that is going. Now, there's a chart that I use called Does It Bleed? And in this chart, you will see the performance of any, you know, most big cryptocurrencies against Bitcoin. And you can see here, Sui, since the 2nd of September, has started to go up against Bitcoin massively. And that run really began in August's dip. You can see here, it dipped all the way low here in terms of price versus Bitcoin, and then it started to form a new range here. So I expect that to continue. And overall, in terms of the crypto trend, you can see what we have here. It's the fair value. We are way below right now. We've dropped below the fair value in terms of the overall crypto market. So that's something to take notice. Bitcoin dominance still up, you know, 55%. It has come down. It was as high as 57%, but that is a good indicator to have a look. And over here, you can see the old season index. We are at 30. Now, if you look at this, you know, altcoin index is very, very crucial to understanding where if we're in an altcoin season or not. All right. So if you look at this data here, you see in the past 60 days, let's go back to the last 30 days, alts have actually gained a little bit on Bitcoin. But beyond that, if you look across, you would see that we're nowhere near, especially in this last 90 days, we dropped all the way back to this accumulation zone where the green is the Bitcoin season. You can see here, green is Bitcoin and red is alt season. So when alts get up there, that's when we will start celebrating. But as long as we are near, and we're starting to break out, you can see here clearly, then we're still in alt season. So Sui right now, sorry, Bitcoin season. So Sui right now, let's have a look at Sui right now. When everything is being down, right, this thing is up against Bitcoin. Now, in terms of the circulating supply, and people always get this wrong, right now you've got 26%, nearly 20% of all tokens are out. By the time the bull market comes, it will be around 30%. So you got an additional 10% of inflation. But this is where it gets really interesting, right? My benchmark for layer ones, especially smaller layer, big cap layer ones, is Kaspa. The market cap here right now is 22 billion, guys. Cardano went up to 93 billion. All right. You don't even have to you don't even have to be a specialist to understand these things, where the opportunities are. Now, I still have my biggest convictions in projects like Alephium. I've got, you know, sufficient amount of Kaspa, my largest holding. But if you look at this right now and you say, okay, you know what, I really don't want to buy a big market cap, but you understand, obviously, everybody's hyping, you know, an incredible project like Kaspa. Right now, to get to the market cap of Cardano, it's a $4 Sui, and that is 5x on your money. Now, if you go to the all-time high here, you know, that would be a $35 Sui on a $93 billion market cap and a 42x. Now, let's say Sui and Aptos share the market cap. Well, then you try and half that, or even, you know, you try and, I don't know, you split the move cryptocurrencies into two, and you say these two will share market cap. I think this outperforms, and this is not a, you know, this price here is not beyond, you know, reasonable target for a project that will do a lot more than what ADA ever did as a layer one. So guys, let me know what you think. And in terms of your overall conviction, I mean, I'll always show you what I have on chain, and I have Alephium, Marvia, basedai. I have Tectum, aitech, AGI, Corpo World, mintlayer. I hold all of these projects. But now it's time to point the opportunities really to the community and say, open your eyes. Okay, we have become a cult. Crypto YouTube is a cult, right? Your favorite influencer holds X amount of projects in such a shit coin, and they want you to buy that. It shouldn't be about that. It should be an objective analysis, and that's why most people will not make money, because your favorite influencer will always say, buy my picks, and everything else is just shit. I'm telling you right now, this is one of the biggest opportunities, regardless of what coins I hold. Okay, I've moved stable coins. I'm actually dollar cost averaging into SUI. I already owe a small bag of SUI. I did an article in the Patreon, in the Discord group on WOB. If you want to join our WOB group, by the way, guys, you're more than welcome. It's $9 a month. It is absolutely teaming there with legends. But anyway, enough of me, guys. Let me know what you're thinking, and obviously, in order for you to consider the next Solana, are you one of those people that will continue to hold and allocate into just projects that you feel like it's you're just seeing it on every YouTube channel? Are you balancing your risk to reward? Are you owning a Kaspa and a SUI, or a SUI and an Alephium, for example? In terms of gaming, are you buying Heroes of Marvia, or are you buying another blue chip game along with your 100 low cap high risk games that can do 100x for you? We have to mix the bag, guys, and that's going to be my message until you guys become millionaires. I've been your host, DXB Crypto. Hope you have a lovely weekend, and take care.